freshly machined, 20 over. It's a 5.9 Cummins. So you got a big, beautiful crankshaft down in there too. Look at that. What's up, guys? We flew out all the way here to Utah to visit Industrial Injection. We're here with Chase. Our buddy Sean's in the background. Today we're going to be putting together a brand new engine for our little silver single cab that we got some compounds from Industrial about 2 or 3 months ago, and that thing dropped a cylinder. But we're putting together a race engine. I called Industrial and said, hey, I'm going to ship you a core block, and let's put something together. And then I show up here, and it looks like we're going all out compared to maybe 1,000 horsepower capable build. And what we're going to do is unbox this engine where it's fresh back from the machine shop and get everything laid out, and Chase is going to tell us about all these cool parts going in it. So right here we've got a Industrial Injection spec'd factory camshaft that they send off and they're reground to their specific specs. So we're going to get this sit over here on the bench. And this really cool thing right there is called an engine girdle. And that's going to sit, Gorilla Girdle. That's going to sit underneath the engine, similar to what Sean has right here. And it's going to bolt down and connect all of our main caps to our block, essentially stiffening the whole entire bottom end. Looks like we got some rod bearings.
Rod bearings, yeah.
So they've got the block right here all machined and ready to go, but Chase is going to take it out in the shop and get it blasted, you said, maybe?
Just do a final wash. So we'll go through all the oil ports, clean all that stuff out.
Clean everything
out.
Take
the mains out, scrape those, make sure everything's good to go.
It looks like he said it's been bored 20 over.
Yep.
Now this block, once we get it put on an engine stand, we're going to show some differences between what's been done to this for the race block versus a stock reman here that Sean's working on, the different rods and pistons that are in it. And this one has actually been bored out for cam bearings all the way down the block, which is something that very few shops in the US can do. Industrial Injection obviously has the ability to do that because in our stock blocks, they have a cam bearing only at the front and the back on the common rails. And we have cam bearings going all the way through, and that supports our camshaft. We're running higher seat pressure on your valve springs because our blocks naturally from the factory have just your cam and a small thin layer of oil between the factory block. So extra protection for the higher RPMs. All right, let's roll her out. That's a big crane, boys. So Industrial recently, I think you guys are gonna be moving into a new machine shop?
Yeah, we just bought a pretty big building out in Richfield.
Is that where you're gonna be working at?
I think so, yeah.
That's exciting, huh?
Yeah, we'll see. It should be awesome. It's a nice big facility, so brand new as well. It'll be nice. So
right now the machine shop is off-site from here where we're at right now, where they're assembling engines and doing final prep work and maybe some teardown stuff. So to have everything under one roof is going to be super efficient.
Yeah.
You can get a lot more engines out a year having everything under one roof. So freshly machined, 20 over. It's a 5.9 Cummins. So you got a big, beautiful crankshaft down in there too. Look at that. So what's the process that you go through first? You're gonna put it in the tank and bake it?
So yeah, I'll pull all the mains off, scrape those.
Pull the freeze plugs out of it or something?
So the oil ones are already pulled out.
Okay.
They do that here. These guys, the teardown guys, do that here, and then we send it down to the machine shop. They do their deal, machine it, and then we do the final wash. So we'll go through all the oil ports with wire brush and make sure it's all good to go.
All right.
But yeah.
We'll let them get to it. There we go, one crankshaft out of the box.
They're too heavy.
I said, didn't you used to be able to curl one of these crankshafts before?
That's why he's got a bad back now.
All right, we're just gonna jump right in here and disrupt their whole process. So Chase is out there getting the block put in the tank to cook it. And while he's doing that, let's unbox some pistons and see what we got going on here. Now these pistons, I think, will be numbered as to which cylinder they came out of, because, yeah, right there, number 3. Because when they drop these pistons down the block, they will check the piston wall clearance to make sure everything's good, because when a diesel gets really hot, these pistons will actually expand. And when they expand, they need to be able to make sure that they can expand enough that they don't lock up the engine. So, but look at these. These are some Industrial's custom pistons. Check that out. Fly cut, coated, side skirts, coated on the top here. I've built a many engines with these exact same pistons. My old race truck from back in the day actually had these, and that thing's seen all the hot EGTs. Now these are all weighted. I'm sure they've been weighted and checked for the weight of them. So you need to make sure that all of this stays together whenever we're taking them out of the piston box here. Yep, there's number 6. All this is from the machine shop. There's a lot more to building an engine properly, other than just getting it machined, bringing it back, and slapping pistons in it. There's lots of things that you should be checking, doing things the right way, instead of the wrong way. And that's what they're doing here. So I flew out here to build an engine with Industrial, but don't think I'm trying to do everything, but I do miss assembling engines, having a really nice clean area to do it too, because you can't really build an engine and it be right in a dirty area whatsoever. So this is the girdle we're talking about, and this is going to sit right on the bottom of the block, and like I said, it connects the main studs to the rest of the block, because your common rail Cummins have a factory girdle, but not the Gorilla girdle, something in this style. And here's all the parts and spacers that go along with it, and the instructions. So right here is a teardown bench, and there is a lot of rod and main bearings in there. Look at that. It's crazy. Maybe another engine that's ready to be shipped out. Look at that. Brand new. All brand new. So what he's doing is knocking the old freeze plugs out. Well, yeah, those are old freeze plugs, because we're going to be putting billet freeze plugs in the side of it, because whenever you run these engines at a much higher RPM, it builds a lot more coolant pressure than what you would normally have. And those are actually have a problem of popping out of the block. When we start putting this thing together, you'll see all the really cool fancy billet parts that are going to be going on it. It's going to be top notch. Look at this. Our good buddy Randy at Randy's Transmissions. This is his race truck. Well, it's more or less a dyno truck. Look at that. Oh, Industrial Injection makes their own rocker bridges. That's sick. Billet aluminum block, though. Look at that. That is sexy. Wow. This thing is over 3,500 horsepower. Dang. Look at that big old spinny windy there. Need that for the dang sled pulling semi truck, don't we? This thing's got everything. Look at that big old intercooler there. This wrap is sick. Red Delicious. Pretty crazy. All right, so right now we've got the block sitting on a rotating table here, and this is a hot tank. So what is this going to do exactly?
So right now what I'm doing is spraying everything down with some mineral spirits mixed with ATF.
Okay.
That's what we use to clean all of our stuff, and it does the job pretty well. So I'm really just spraying it into all the important parts. This will help clean it up, and then the tank has its own special soap on it. It'll help so after we pull it out, it doesn't rust.
Okay.
And then, yeah, just like a normal.
So this rust and stuff right here will end up coming off of it?
Most of it, yes.
Okay.
I'll probably end up having to bring the wire wheel over and
Okay.
hitting it and running it again. But yeah, for the most part, it does a really good job. But right now, I'm just going to spray everything down, wire wheel it, and then we'll let it run for like 30, 40 minutes, pull it out, see how it looks, and repeat if we need. So.
All right. So while Chase is doing that, we're going to find some other parts. I think we have a cylinder head floating around here that's going to be going on the truck or on the engine. Maybe what rods we're going to be using, and we'll check out some other cool stuff from the shop. This is our cylinder head, fresh from the machine shop. Let's pull the lid off of it and see what we got to work with here. Check that out. Now this head still has the factory shelf on it because we're not going that insanely crazy. But it's got all the freeze plugs that are originally under the valve cover have been removed, and what they do is they drill them out and then tap them, put these plugs in it, because what can be a common problem when we talk about the freeze plugs blowing out the side of the block from pressure from higher RPMs, you can also have freeze plugs blow out under the valve cover and fill the whole entire engine full of coolant, and that's not good either. Now, this head has also been ported because this is a race head is what they call these. Looks like we have some other plugs here that go in it. But let's see if we can stand this thing up right here and we can check out the valves, and it may be firing too, I'm not sure. It's a little baby. Look at that. Oh, we're gonna be putting O-rings in it. This head's actually O-ringed, and there's little O-rings that sit down inside there, or fire rings, I guess you could call it. And they press down on that factory head gasket even harder to create an even better seal for running higher boosts and higher RPMs and higher horsepower at the end of the day. But look right here in the exhaust ports. See how those things are beautifully smooth and polished? It's because they're ported, CNC ported with a big CNC machine. We'll get Ryan to put a video up here on the screen of how a tool goes in there and grinds them and makes them super smooth. And the reason they do that is so you get all the airflow. Yeah, look inside there. You can actually see it all the way in there to the valves. All nice and smooth and polished up. Yeah, there you have it. Our racing cylinder head. We'll get it laid back down in here and cover it up. And either in today's video or the next video, we'll be putting this on. The goal of this video today is getting the bottom end put together with all the cool parts.
So now that we got the block in the wash, I'll go ahead and start cleaning up these mains and the main studs. So for our race series engine, we put 14 millimeter ARP mains in there. So these are a little bit longer so that we can put our Gorilla girdle on there. And this goes in place of the factory girdle, which I think they've already touched on, but yeah. So I'll just start cleaning stuff up. I'll get stuff like the oil squirters cleaned up. So we're gonna get the cam gear on there. The way we like to do it is just with a little hot plate. We'll get this nice and hot, and then the cam, I believe we're putting a 5-degree key in there. Let's see if I can find it in this box. Yep, so what we're doing here, we're gonna take the stock key off of this. We'll put this aftermarket key, show you what it looks like. So you can kind of see the step in this aftermarket key. What this does is advances the gear 5 degrees. So we'll be throwing that in this race engine. All right, so if you get the builder box and you're doing this at home, you want the arrow on this pointing out, which would be to the front of the engine, or where the cam gear, the front of that. So just tap it in with a brass hammer so you don't mess it up. Kind of tricky. just like that. Then I like to just file down the edges just to make sure, even with the brass hammer, sometimes it'll leave little burrs on there. So just for ease of installation. So something that's really important when you're building any engine after it's machined or line honed, you want to make sure you get all the burrs cleaned up with the scraper. So that's what we're doing right now, scraping the mains, and then I'll do the same in the block when I pull that out of the wash too. So basically what you're feeling for is just making sure that it feels smooth. So that one's good. I'll do it to all 7 of them. So when we're cleaning the squirters, it's important, or we make sure with every single one that it's free flowing. So we'll run solvent through them just to be 100% sure there will not be any blockages in the squirter. So you can see how this one has a weak flow where the other ones were squirting up a lot higher. All we'll do is just blow it out. Much better. Just like that. And we'll make sure it's on there. This little tool, it's on. Just breaking down the waggler rods right now, unboxing them.
Y'all guys must keep a lot of these rods in stock, huh?
Yeah, all the time. We love waggler.
There are a lot of moving parts and pieces inside the shop here.
Yeah.
Like in the back, they're building turbos. Here, they're building engines. Now, these rods are good for like 2,000 horsepower, are they, or something like that?
Yeah. I forget who said, but someone said when we called and asked them how much they hold, they said, we don't know, let us know.
Oh, okay.
Could be wrong about that, so. But yeah, they hold a lot. Over 1,500 for sure.
That's plenty.
Plenty.
Our little flatbed that this engine's going in is 800 right now. Us building the engine isn't necessarily going to raise the power because we still have the same fuel and air. But it's definitely going to make it stronger, and it should make a little bit more power than what we made on the dyno, which we'll roll the clip here because we never posted it. But it made 800 horsepower on that big dyno that was at the shop for Blake's show with a cylinder that was a little low, so it should be a lot higher now with a good engine that's firing on all 6. So these are a forged rod.
Yeah, these are badass. Good looking. See if we can find a stock one around here.
Yeah, that'd be a good comparison.
So these are connected to a piston, obviously, but you can just tell how much beefier they are. These things are sweet.
These are compressed graphite rods.
Yeah, the stock ones.
So not even forged, really. And these have what's called a broken cap, to where the rods are all made in one piece, and they're put in the special machine and it literally breaks it perfectly.
Yeah, when you get them all torqued down, you can almost not even tell that there's a seam.
Can't even
right
see
there.
the seam, yeah. But every rod cap will only go to the rod it belongs to because every break is literally different on every single rod made, which is crazy.
It's like a fingerprint, but for rods.
Exactly, that's crazy. But look at this. Almost looks like it's 3D printed. It's pretty crazy, just the machine marks. And these rods are made to accept 12 valve and common rail rod bearings. You see the different knocks in there?
Sorry.
ARP rod bolts, new bushings. Just a little baby compared to the the big engines.
Just how he was saying, the stock rods, the cap has to go to the same rod. It's the same with these, so I'll just number them 1 through 6, just to be sure.
But technically, these could get mismatched
They could. Yep.
because they're not that broken style. These are actually machine fit and measured to make sure the hole inside here is not oval, it's perfectly round for those rod bearings.
These are torqued down to 130 foot-pounds, so they're on there pretty good.
I wonder how many rods have been put in that vise over the years. Probably a few thousand.
Yeah, probably.
So this vise has aluminum jaws in there, so it's not hurting anything for that rod to be clamped down in there, since the aluminum's softer than the steel. The steel rod. Talk about a press fit.
Yeah. They are not supposed to come apart, that's for sure.
We're building a Cummins, not a come apart, so we hope it stays together.
Oh, it will.
All right, so Chase has got our engine back out of the hot tank over there. You've seen it get pulled out. He's removed all the debris, all debris free.
It's good to go. Yeah, so I pull it out of the wok. On the back side, I've already installed the back bushing for the cam, and then the 2 freeze plugs in the back for the oil galleys, and then just put it in the stand. And now we're going to put the rest of the cam bushings in there. So
Now this isn't something like we were talking about a standard practice on your regular factory reman rebuilds back here, because Cummins don't have cam bearings all the way down the block. It's just another machining process. They found a way to get by without needing it. So by putting all these in here, we can run higher spring pressure in the head. It's not going to wear the block. If we wanted to, we could run a billet steel cam. The problem with having a cast block, you can't put a billet steel cam because it would wear into the block. Ask me how I know.
yeah, that's the biggest advantage. Is being
You
able to
lose
run
oil
harder-
pressure.
harder metal cam. So all right.
So what you're doing now, you've got this special tool that you guys have made
Yep.
for installing cam bearings in a Cummins.
Yep, so I've got this one kind of set up. I just kind of mark on the block where the oil hole goes down in there.
Oh.
So I've lined that up, and then you essentially just knock them in. I've already put some oil inside of all of these, so.
Okay, so they slide in there.
Yep.
Now this is the process that you guys have done at the machine shop, because, like I said, these bearings are a factory bearing.
Yep.
For the front or the rear of the block, whichever it may be. But
There's
like I said, they're not
actually
normally
different
inside the block, so by adding these to it, makes it look better.
This one's actually a little bit thicker.
The front
This is
bearing, right?
typically the one we put in the front and the rear.
Okay.
Not all Cummins come with the rear one, but some of them do. It's kind of just a casting thing. But yeah.
So lining these up with the oil hole here that lets oil get inside the bearing, with our oil holes here that come out of the crank and go. So you can see the little green mark he's got down there on that one. We're gonna line it up and see all the way through that once it's done. So smack them things in
Yeah,
there.
we're good to going then.
It's got the precise hammer.
Yeah. So we'll use this one to start it and then finish it with this other one. I'll grab my light, look
Double
down
check
this
the
hole.
Make sure it lines up.
Yep.
And these pieces right there, he's driving them in. Fit these cam bearings perfectly. Those nice and tight on there. And you can drive it home without hurting these bearings, because it would be literally impossible to get a hammer in there and knock this thing in perfect without using that rod.
Perfect. I don't know if the camera can see that, but we can try it.
Yep.
Can you see through that hole?
Oh, the hole.
Probably not.
Oh, all lined up. All right, now we'll let it put the rest of them in.
Yeah, now we'll do the same thing with the rest of it.
All right, so Chase has got the block all cleaned up and ready to go. He's getting our main bearing caps laid out. We're gonna measure and double check everything. And we've got some main bearings here, and these are the Molly, these are like a race bearing, I think. What's the specs on these? They're coated for sure.
Yeah, it's just got a different coating on it. They're a little more tough than the average bearing, so it won't take as much debris, but they're a lot stronger. So
Okay.
That's Sean knows a little bit more of the science behind them, but
Steel back bearing versus like a regular battery tornado.
So steel
Back, yeah.
steel back bearing. There you go.
Versus like a tri-metal, that's maybe a little way.
These are a little bit harder. If they get a little bit of dirt in them, it's not probably not the greatest situation, but it's for racing. So when you're putting together an engine like this, where you're going to be doing lots of high horsepower and stuff with it, you've got to be realistic about what you're doing and know that maybe, depending on how high horsepower you're doing, maybe every 1 to 2 race seasons or years, you're going to be into it, doing an inspection, maybe changing bearings out. But that's the cost of having, 1,500, 2,000 horsepower in a block that was originally designed for 400. This is called
tap it.
We're waiting on Ryan. Ryan is so bad at naming anything.
Call it whatever you want.
We've got our new main bearings in there. Tappets are in there. Now it's time for the crank. Not brand new, but
You take the top.
been ran through the machine shop. She's good to go.
So just wrap around this one.
Rod journal.
You can stand on that side. I'll stand on this side. Ready?
Yep. 1, 2, 3. Don't wait to drop.
Here we go.
All right. We know what this is called, Ryan?
The rod. Leave me alone.
That's pretty good. It spins.
Yeah.
What's the one thing you do every morning when you wake up?
Crank it.
There you go.
So plastic gauge is just pretty much a way of measuring the clearance between bearing to crank. So essentially it'll just smash that little piece of plastic there, and depending on how wide it is, we'll use the little measurement thing they give us to see what the clearance is.
Make
And,
sure there's proper clearance for the oil to go in between the bearing and the crank.
Exactly right.
So we're gonna put this one in. This is not a final installation, but just merely installing the main cap and torquing it down, and making sure it's good to go. All right, I've got these main studs here, which are 14 millimeter
Yeah,
main
they're
studs.
14 millimeter main studs, so they're bigger than factory, that's for sure.
So the bolt holes and threads down here inside the block have been drilled out and rethreaded larger for a larger stud. All the clamping force, and then our girdle goes on top of this, and you'll see that in just a moment.
You can never use too much of this stuff.
Lube is good.
Yes,
Lube is our friend. And that's just a concoction of ARP lube you've gathered over time.
all ARP lube.
I've seen you pumping out some of the squeeze the tube into that.
Just an easier way to put it on.
There you go. Then he's going to run these down and torque it down, and we'll check that little itty bitty piece of plastic you might have seen in there. And this is what he's going to use to measure it, and he'll tell us right where it needs to be. Just double checking. This is all stuff the machine shop has already done, but just double check.
Just making sure.
All right, so now that Chase has torqued it down, well, he's going to pull these studs out probably. You'll see that little piece of plastic where it's spread. We're going to double check everything. Now, granted, everything looks good. We put it back together. If it isn't, then it has to go back to the machine shop. 9.99999 times out of 10 is good.
All thanks to the machine shop.
Yes. Measure 5 times, cut once.
Exactly. All right. So now we'll just take that little plastic gauge deal. Do it on the inches side. Perfect. 002. So that's really good. That's well within spec.
There you go. So now we'll wipe this off here. Have to get a pick or something to get it off, but
You can leave it. The oil will dissolve it.
okay.
If you want, you can just throw a bunch of oil on all these and then put the mains on there.
Oil it up. Now some people prefer to use like an assembly lube. This is just regular old oil, eh? Oh, assembly lube and brake-in oil.
So we do a mixture of this stuff. It's super sticky.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it. It's like it's
It's
traveling.
just got some Joe Gibbs break-in oil and then this stuff, which is super stringy. It's like honey. So we'll dilute it down and use this stuff.
Now, if it's an engine you're going to build and it's going to sit on the shelf for a long time, like 6 months, a year, you may put like, I don't know, a different type of lube. But this is something that's getting put together and it's going right to our shop and putting it in the truck and firing it right up. So stuff like this is generally okay. Some main cap action.
And as we're doing this, we'll just verify front of the engine starts with main cap 1 all the way down to 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that
All
is
stamped.
important. Yeah, they're stamped on.
Generally, it's not a good idea for 2 people to build an engine, but we're doing it, and we're doing it together just to show you guys what it's all about. So. So what he's doing right there is these main caps have got a little, I can't even think about what it's called now. Yeah, they have a thing on the bottom of them that goes into the other thing, and it lines it all up perfect, but it's a tight fit. So now for all the stuff, all the lube, right?
You can use the fasteners lube, but this is just what we do. It works fine.
All right, we'll each grab a handful as they're dropping them in.
Just get it started and I'll run them down with the gun.
Now these right here, when he tightens them down, he runs them down, but this is not something you tighten down with an impact. You don't want these to be bottom out in the block. You want them to go down and you're pulling against the threads and not pulling against the bottom of the block. That kind of makes sense. Never, ever, ever tighten the stud down into a position, ever.
Hand tight is fine, but anything more.
Yeah, no good. You shall not pass. Right there, it just barely goes down. That's it. Never torque them down or anything like that. Now I've got this ARP assembly lube we're putting on here. And I'm putting some around the base of the stud here because there's a washer that goes down and you want that washer to not be held up by nothing. And this allows these nuts that go down to torque and move properly without any resistance, because if you put them on dry, they'll try to turn the stud, and it's not what we want. We want the stud to be the clamping force. Ryan, tell him to slow down. He's moving too fast. Can't rush perfection.
You are making it look neat.
These guys are like, I can't build an engine a day at this speed. Look at that, like cake batter, just slapping it on there. Now we gotta be nice and careful so we don't damage these cam bushings, bearings, whatever you folks want to call them nowadays. Slide her all the way through. This one's a lot easier to manage rather than those big C15 cams, that's for sure.
Yeah, finger traps.
You kind of balance it with one hand back here.
Where is it in there?
Around this washer here. That's what holds our cam from sliding in and out. There you go.
Retainer.
Cam retainer, thrust bearing, whatever you want to call it. Everyone has their own name. Ta-da. All Gucci.
Is it lined up? No, it's not.
Yeah, you caught me. Noob.
It's all right. There you go.
Yeah. I was just testing you.
Okay.
Well, hard to be a couple teeth off. Double check the valves.
Timing.
There you go.
Or is that a club? Or is that a jig? It's a jig.
The short ones.
Oh. No lock. Oh, you already got some on it. Okay. Brand new water pump.
Yep.
Gotta have that. So once we have our cam in here, we can turn the engine upside or right side up, and our lifters won't all fall out. Look at that. Got a brand new oil pump going in there. Gotta make sure you put oil in that. We want that thing to start up dry. But you guys have a really cool tool for testing bottom ends, right?
We do, yeah, our sim tester.
We'll get to see that in action. We'll tell you all about that soon.
Time to measure the piston.
All right, we have our engine right side up. What'd you say we're doing next?
Measuring piston rings.
All right, why do we do that?
Well, for a couple reasons. One of the reasons is to keep oil out of the combustion chamber, and then the other reason is to keep the combustion in the combustion chamber. So
Keep them
that's
low
like the
by
most
to a minimal.
basic thing. Basic way to explain it, I guess.
Well, that's what we're doing next, and then pistons and rods will get assembled and go in after that.
All right, so we've got all the piston rings measured out. They all look good. I have assembled the piston and rod assembly here. So put the piston rings on and obviously the rods. Now we're ready to put them in the block. So I'll go ahead and do that now.
They've done all 5 of them. We're going to do the last long side to the cam. On the rings, maybe. Just lather it up.
Yeah, smear that around.
The old twister around.
This one toward you, that one. Yep.
Now, I don't usually have this fancy tool here to line up my rings and stuff. This is nice.
You kind of use your finger to push the ring in. Yep, there you go.
Bada bing. Look at that. Helps to have the right size tool, huh?
Yeah, they're really convenient.
Ta-da! Now what do we do? Flip it upside down? Is that right, cameraman? I like this tool. This is like y'all could have a sword fight in here.
We got a couple of them. We can make something happen.
Oh, you already got all the rods in them all. So actually, the last one.
Yeah, we'll plastic gauge this one too.
You plastic gauge all the others then? Oh. Look at that. All forged bottom end. It'd be like that, the boomers at the car meets. You're like, yeah, it's fully forged. It's blueprinted and balanced. But for real, it is balanced.
It is balanced.
Just a little dollop, a little dab.
You can't have too much.
What do you think, Ryan?
Hopefully it's fast.
Well, if people are still watching the video by now, as long as this one's been,
It's dark outside.
it's a pretty solid one, I think. Full Cummins engine build, part 1, coming to an end here. But after these are done, this really cool thing goes on next, the girdle. This block stiffener. It's going to be really stiff.
How stiff?
Why are you getting red, Ryan? Cameraman's getting red. His face is getting red.
002. That's a
There
great
you
engine,
go.
guys.
That's a tight one.
So this stuff is all pre-measured at the machine shop, which is why everything's so good. But double check it with the plastic gauge, just a good measure. This thing's gonna be happy. It's got some nice tight clearance in it, so.
Be nice and quiet too. All right, our lower rotating assembly is completely assembled and done. One thing you can see down in there are our piston oilers. These are steel piston oilers, and the factory ones are actually plastic. So I don't know if that's an upgrade. I've never seen those before. That's new.
It comes factory in some random engines.
Really?
It's just another deal, like some Cummins come with the back cam bushing, some don't. It's just
Alright.
a casting thing, so. But they are better, we found. Obviously, metal doesn't melt like plastic does, so.
Yeah. Especially when we get hot. We don't plan on getting this one hot though. So, well, we're going to rotate it over, measure piston protrusion, and that'll be it.
Yeah, for tonight, yeah.
I'll let you tell them what you're doing.
So basically, I'm just turning the engine over until the piston comes up as far as it'll go, and then I'll take that measurement and write it down on our build sheet. But obviously, we just want to make sure that the clearance is good so that the piston won't come up and smack the head or the valves. So that's the importance of checking this.
So we have cut pistons with valve reliefs in them. That's because this cam has more lift than a factory cam does. I don't think it's necessarily our valves are coming down into here
Yeah,
with
it's
this
just-
build, but it's just more or less giving the valves room to grow with the higher the RPMs get. Measuring them all. Okay.
Yeah, they vary quite a bit actually.
Is it just based on where the block was machined?
That and
Maybe the coating
all
on the pistons?
pistons are all machined a little bit different where the wrist pin is.
Mm.
And the rods, like if you reuse common rail rods, sometimes they can shrink.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll do it too.
Or they turn into an S when they have too much boost. Well, guys, that wraps up part 1 of our building an engine here at Industrial Injection. Make sure you check them out. All the links in the description below. Follow Industrial Injection on Instagram, Facebook. And for all of your high-performance diesel needs, from automotive to big rigs, they've got you covered. We'll be checking out some other really cool stuff that Industrial has for the big trucks. I know a lot of you watch the channel to see the heavy-duty side of things, but you're going to see all the cool parts they have to offer. Shout out to Chase for helping us get this far today, and us showing up a little bit late. Thanks to Randy Reyes and Andrew Kaplan. And we'll be back out here tomorrow getting this thing buttoned up.